Hello and good afternoon, Board of Directors for Intel. My name is Adam Burgos and I'm here to share my business proposal. Intel has been the primary seller for central processing units, or CPUs for short. While this has cemented Intel as one of the top tech companies, this strength could also possibly cause a downfall for Intel. CPUs consist for over 50% of Intel's total revenue, and recent news shows bad trends for Intel's main selling item. Their newest CPU, the 10 nanometer chip, has been delayed multiple times, and this has caused Intel to lose a part of its footing in the CPU market share. Again, this is a major issue as CPUs are more than 50% of their total revenue. In order to safeguard against future issues and to resolve current issues, I propose that Intel should enter the GPU market as well as using the business model of exclusivity. One way for Intel to offset its current process delays and help increase their revenue would be to enter into the graphic processing units market, also known as GPUs. This is a viable option for Intel, as CPUs don't differ much from GPUs. CPUs focus more as the brain of the computer that serve multiple functions, whereas GPUs are more geared toward performing specialized tasks, mostly used to process graphics. With the right set of engineers, Intel could create GPUs with ease. CPUs already have graphic processing abilities, and the right tweaks can be made to create a competitive GPU. There are only two main competitors in the GPU market, NVIDIA and Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD, both of whom are also in the CPU market. Even with Intel's current issues and loss of the CPU market share, Intel CPUs are still considered to be the superior CPU over NVIDIA and AMD. If Intel focused on creating a GPU, they could potentially have the best GPU in the market as well. Having the best GPU in the market would allow Intel to not only create more revenue, but also to rely less on the sales of its CPU for revenue. Along with participating in the GPU market, Intel could look to increase its revenue by practicing the business model of exclusivity, and where only their products work with their other products. The way Intel could do this is by making their CPUs exclusively work with their own GPUs. Many people use Intel CPUs coupled with either an AMD or NVIDIA GPU. Practicing exclusivity would force consumers to use both Intel CPUs and GPUs. This would allow Intel to maintain its current footing in the CPU market as well as make strides within the GPU market. In order to enter the GPU market and practice exclusivity, Intel first needs to set a budget for research and development teams. Intel would be hiring engineers to work on the new GPUs as well as help maintain the quality of the current CPUs. Raw materials for these processors are relatively cheap, and manufacturing costs wouldn't be that much higher due to Intel owning factories for their CPUs. The GPU manufacturing could be implemented within the next year if Intel decides to move forward with the plan. Due to the nature of processors, Intel already has a solid foundation to create a competitive GPU. This will allow Intel to help solve any current microprocessor delays and help increase their revenue. Intel exclusivity, on the other hand, may take a couple years, as Intel will first have to establish the strength of the GPU in the market. When done properly, Intel will establish itself in the GPU market and will no longer have to worry about losing its footing in the CPU market. Entering the GPU market for Intel would be a smart move because it would reduce the reliance on their CPUs, allow them to utilize exclusivity, and with their current production capabilities, allow them to enter the market within a reasonable time frame and budget. Thank you for your time, and I hope you take this proposal into consideration.